am here speaking surprise on behalf of our wonderful board member, Joanna Pope, who is coming all the way from New York City to be here today, and she is a little bit late, so I'm going to give a little off-the-cuff curtain speech. Yay, let's go. So, welcome to our second annual installation of Fuse Collaborations in Song. This is one of my favorite things that we do at Catalyst and with Boston Singers Resource. And it's one of my favorite things because it's all about collaboration. This project began as a collaboration between these two organizations. And the process itself is all about collaboration. It's about bringing together singers, composers, and poets who all work together in teams to develop 5 brand new songs and song cycles that you will hear for the very first time tonight. Before we get started, I want to give a quick thank you to Longy School of Music, who is letting us use their gorgeous space here. We love performing in Pickman Hall. I think it's an ideal spot for intimate song recitals like this, so we are very grateful to be here at Longy School of Music. And again, I'm speaking representing Catalyst, but I also want to say thank you to Boston Singers Resource, who is equally a huge part of making this performance happen. I am so proud to be able to present this performance that really creates opportunities not only for these writers and composers from across the world, but for singers from the Boston and greater New England community who are represented and supported by Boston Singers Resource. So without further ado, I will invite our first artists out to present the first song. Thank you so much.
Before we begin, I'd love to invite poet Rebecca Wright up to talk a little bit about the first poem you're going to hear tonight. I think I will sit up.
All right, thank you so much for being here tonight, for coming out to both enjoy and support new music. First, I have a note from our composer, Natasha, who is unable to be here tonight, and then a few thoughts of my own. So Natasha says, to be able to work with Rebecca and Grace through Fuse is a testament to our modern day technology, being that across seas and time zones, we were able to bring a new vocal work swiftly into fruition. Collaboration, therefore, indeed has no geographical bounds. And although I have not yet had the pleasure to meet Rebecca and Grace in person, our dedication to this work shows the immense potential for musicians and multidisciplinary artists to work together when given the opportunity. Thank you to Brendon and Omar for making this opportunity happen. Please enjoy this piece. I would love to hear your thoughts on how this piece landed with you, so please reach out through my Instagram profile or drop me a message. And so for myself, this poem speaks a lot to the fear and the grief that I feel from watching climate change happen right in front of me.
Would you please speak closer to the microphone?
Oh, thank you. When I grew up in Oregon, I had the experience, oh, is it not on at all?
Closer, closer. It's not.
So for myself, this poem speaks to a lot of the grief and the fear that I personally feel in watching climate change happen right in front of me. Growing up in Oregon, I saw the insects around my parents' house disappear over the course of a decade and a half, 2 decades. And now here in Boston, I used my snow boots one time this past winter. But I want to say, in partnership with this poem, the other side of that grief, and the essential thing, I think, to hold on to, is that making a deliberate practice of hope and then acting on it in whatever way is available to us is how we make it through. Trees that were planted in the 1920s and 30s are now swaths of young forest all up and down the East Coast. And it is these trees that are exactly the right age to help mitigate the effects of rising temperatures here in this region. They were planted by people who had no idea of the scale of the gift that they were giving us. In the middle of their own economic and environmental crisis, the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl, the people who planted those trees were, as Bertolt Brecht would say, singing in the dark. And I think that we should take hope firmly in hand and do the same. So thank you so much for being here, Brendon.
Ooh. voice no good when I packed, because it was melting through my shoes, but I would give anything for those chilly feet today. To have one more chance, another moment within the great tilting spin of the universe, while stars are born and die, falling like snowflakes, melting before their light ever reaches our eyes. Give me once more the sting and the words and the soak through shoes. And before I have to remember snow.
Hi everybody, good evening, and thank you so much for being here and sharing in the spirit of collaboration with all of us and getting to see what we've all been working on. It's been such a privilege to work with Rachel and Nicola on this project. So I'm going to start out by saying this piece is Poor Katy, a murder ballad. If you don't know what a murder ballad is, it's very common in folk music, Western music, country. Some examples you might know are Marty Robbins' Big Iron, The Night That the Lights Went Out in Georgia, Little Sadie. It's always, there is a murder, usually it is a woman being murdered by a man, and at the end he meets some form of justice, either at the hands of law or a higher power. And so for this, what we did is we crafted a fictitious murder ballad. It's got a pretty standard story. Girl gets murdered, her brother goes out for revenge, there's a shootout, there's unfortunate collateral damage, and it's very sad. And these stories, because it was very hard out there in the world that these were written in traditionally, it's interesting because it's unpacking a world that was very cruel. There was a lot of grief, a lot of tragedy, but the unfortunate side of that is that a lot of what you get is a man who is the main character and women who live and die in service of their character development. So for this, we step out of the piece intermittently and provide these monologues of the women who are affected by these murders and by this loss and tragedy. And so we have the titular Poor Katy. We get a monologue from her that is simultaneously her talking in her last moments and also her talking from beyond the grave. We get a monologue from a confident saloon-owning woman who is observing some of this drama happening and wonders what's going on, and then at the very end, we get her younger sister talking to her in her last moments, and we also get the spirit of Katy weaving through it as a Katy did. Anything you'd like to add?
Yes, I think I would also just say it's been such a privilege to collaborate with Leo and Nicola. He's done such a great job on the lyrics. And one thing that we really talked about was developing strong characters. And one thing I've been experimenting a lot lately with in art songs specifically is using dramatic storytelling from musical theater, where the music and the text has a subtext, but it's the style and the genre of art song. So I'm trying to tell an entire story within an art song, kind of a little small opera. I borrow a lot from Libby Larson, and I know that we borrowed a lot from her.
Love you, Libby.
And so hopefully it comes across. It's creepy, a little creepy on purpose. And I played with repeating certain text, and it might not be exactly as it is in there, but the text kind of has a chorus, and I try to bring themes back throughout. Thank you.
Poor Katy was killed by a wandering rider who promised the girl that he loved her. God at his side and revenge on his mind, her brother cried, poor Katy. Better watch your step. Watch your step out here. Better watch your step out here in the tall, tall grass. Better watch your step in the tall, tall grass. Me and my brother used to sneak out here, sneak out early mornings, early mornings. We'd catch katydids for Katy. Katydids for Katy, he'd say. We did everything together those days. Can you hear them? Listen. Listen, can you hear them? 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 Listen, 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 listen. Better watch your step out here. Better watch your step out here. Watch your step, watch your step, watch your step, watch your step, watch your step. The next morning they found me at last, hidden in the tall, tall grass. All the trouble, all the trouble, all the trouble over a katydid. Scared of a bug, you know we've had worse here. Trouble, trouble, katydids don't get drunk, refuse to leave. Trouble, trouble. How about that boy in here today? About your age, swore he'd take me as his bride. Of course I told him about my handsome rider, my handsome rider. Well, if he starts any trouble, we'll throw him out like I did your little katydid. Throw him out like your katydid. All that trouble, all that trouble, all that trouble. Throw him out like your katydid. Throw him out like your katydid. He returned the next day. The girl, to his dismay, was in the arms of the wandering rider. Pistols flew out, the boy fired with a shout. This is for poor Katy. The bullet flew past the wandering rider and into the heart of his lover. Two more shots rang out, boy and rider went down at the hands of the dying girl's sister. Don't move. Someone must be coming. Someone must have Katydid's back. And to think, just last night I was scared of little old you. Can you hear the others? Far from town in the tall grass. Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Listen, 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 listen!
like to start with a note from the author. In our initial conversations between poet, composer, and singer, we discovered a common interest in mythology and repeating forms. I decided to try my hand at that strictest of repeating poetic forms, the villanelle. And after numerous drafts, this is the poem that emerged, The Descent. It seeks to combine that prototypical myth of loss, the poet Orpheus's of his beloved Eurydice, with the loss of a loved one to dementia, a loss I have witnessed others undergo and have feared something of its impending possibility in myself. The piece is situated in that liminal space between two worlds, call them upper and under, on that terrifying staircase of knowing the slippage of one's mind is undergoing and having no ability to stop it or turn back. I imagine it as Orpheus is losing the clarity of Eurydice as she descends again and again and again. As someone who is currently experiencing the difficult journey of losing a loved one to Alzheimer's and dementia, it is not lost on me that making art is the ultimate way to process and cope with loss, grief, complicated emotions, but most importantly, art is the ultimate healer.
When she was not descending the stair, telling the dark good night. When he thinks about her, there never was a time when she was not descending the stair, telling the dark good night. He thinks about descending the stair, telling the dark good night, pouring his morning coffee, untangling the knot of hair in the hairbrush discovered in the hall. There never was a time when she was not stirring his morning coffee, never a time she was not untangling the knot of hair, when she was not descending the stair. morning coffee. There never was a time when she was not there in the shadows. There never was a time when she was not there in the shadows, trimming with her neat scissors a perfect contour of the whole. Was there a time when she was not there in the shadows? There she was. Was she whole? There never was a time when she was not. She was not descending the stair, telling the dog good night. He feels her descending the stair. He hears her telling the dog good night. He feels her stir, hears her good night. He feels her again, he hears again her note float from the old piano. Thinks with a chill. There never was a time when she was not Eurydice. Eurydice. He speaks her name. Forgets again the old absurdity appalls. Descending the stair, telling the dark good night. She was a mystery his mind has known for centuries. It's always now in hell. There never was a time when she was not there. Never was a time when she was not there, descending the stair, telling the dog good night. There never was a time when she was not telling the dog good night.
are the fairy tale. In my poetry, fairy tales have been significant to me for many, many decades. In many ways, in hard times in my life, they were what saved me. Because indeed, fairy tales really are the maps of our psyches. In them, we sometimes find what we don't even know we've been dreaming. Think about your own fairy tales. I bet for some of you it might be Red Riding Hood, maybe Rapunzel, maybe Goldilocks, maybe that story of the swan with one wing. May we dream together with Perry's voice.
piece left for you all. But before that, I'd love to introduce our board member, Joanna Pope, who came all the way from New York City. So she has a few words to say, I believe. Where is she? There she is. Great.
Being here, and I don't think this is on. I don't want to mess it up. I'll just use my singer voice. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Joanna Pope, and I'm a very proud member of the board of this uniquely incredible group, Catalyst New Music. And as you see, you know, this is something that's very wonderful and unique to especially the space of new music. And it's such a luxury to say that singers have the opportunity to work with live composers and live librettists, you know. As a singer, someone in the classical music realm, you know that, right? We at Catalyst, you know, prioritize the importance of the human aspect to creativity, and, you know, we're hoping to commodify that a bit. So in that sentiment, I hope you indulge me in just two quotes, you know, that kind of, when I was thinking about the importance of this night, came to mind. One of them is by the little-known philosopher Plato, if you will. And he said, "Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. At the touch of a lover, everyone becomes a poet." And lastly, to a quote Jack London, he says, "Life is so short. I would rather sing one song than interpret the 1,000. Thank you for being here tonight. On behalf of the board and the founders of Catalyst, Brendon Shapiro, Omar Najmi, and Katy. Thank you, and enjoy the last piece.
Generational trauma.
That's quite the shift.
It's a term that's entered the zeitgeist in our understanding over the last few years. Wherever you are, the piece you're about to hear is born of a conversation that Marlena, our poet, Lisa, our composer, and myself had around this topic, but more from the perspective of what it feels like to return to spaces and to people after you've been away from them and see them in a little bit different light. A sweet and loving grandfather was also indeed a hardened and violent father. The women who were your support system also carry the sharpest daggers. With lots of beautiful imagery from Marlena and my shared Southern heritage, we are offered a cleansing from these harmful cycles through the cycle of nature itself. Part 2 of this piece you're about to hear moves from the feeling of realization to the feeling of culpability, and from the perspective of individualism to the greater American identity. It tells us that we are all part of harmful cycles, and the land itself that we're on has witnessed these for many generations and will continue to do so long after we're gone.
you ever prayed for someone you've never met? Have you ever prayed for someone you've never met? If in the morning glories are hurting, no better than me. May these blue words hold me. May these blue words hold me. I am seeking the grace of river water. I am seeking the grace of river water. I want the magic of my grandma's hands, stirring field peas to make our family new. I want to say I am her reaped thing. What am I if not guilty? What am I if not guilty? Living in an empire where fields of blood made me. What am I if not guilty? What am I if not guilty? Living in an empire where fields of blood made me. I can mute you with the press of a button. I can mute you with the press of a button. I can mute you with the press of a button. I smell gun smoke and eat apple pie. I smell gun smoke and eat apple pie. I watch warplanes that never stopped, singing destruction, singing destruction. My the